Alright, this is another video on my continuation of comparing a Guild Mark VII classical guitar, which here is on my right, to one of the other Guild classical guitar models. In this case, this one on my left is a beautiful 1968 Guild Mark VI. So I'm comparing here a Guild 1970 Guild Mark VII against a 1968 Guild Mark VI. They both are solid spruce tops, so they're check my Guild classical guitar presentation on YouTube for all the details on all the models. But basically, the first three models were the student models. The latter three, and including the Mark VII, which would have been the fourth, were the more professional models because of the fancier tone woods. But the Mark VI, for a number of years, was the top of the line. And then they, back in the late 60s, they were tinkering with a Mark VI Artist Special custom artist model, as well as then it derived, or they had a derivative model called the Mark VII, which is the fancy one, the very fancy one, because they only made 10 of them with some special Kolb tuners you can see here. This is the tuners that they used on the Mark VII alone. The Mark VII also has a unique skunk stripe up the top made out of ebony with a veneer there of rosewood. This particular Guild Mark VII has the ebony fretboard, which the 4, 5, 6s, and 7s had. It's a longer scale length. It's 26¼ inches. It's wood bound, just like the Mark VI is wood bound. Solid spruce top with typically all 10 Mark VIIs had different rosettes. A couple of them had the same rosette on some of the serial numbers. This Mark VII has, there's another Mark VII with this beautiful heart rosette. You can see the hearts around the circumference. But it's, again, a solid spruce top with a beautiful 200-year-old Brazilian rosewood. You can see the grain of it. Just a fantastic example of Carlo Greco's craftsmanship. Again, it was made in 1970. They only made 10 models of the Mark VII from roughly 1968 to about 1972. So I'm going to compare this beautiful example against the Mark VI, which is a 68. Now, this is a little bit shorter scale length. This is 25 3/8 long. Has beautiful tuners on it as well. These are Kolb tuners, and has a maple skunk stripe up the back with a mahogany neck. A beautiful, solid spruce top. And finally, getting to the Brazilian rosewood, it's just a beautiful example of Brazilian rosewood on this one as well. But this Brazilian rosewood is different from the Mark VII. As you can see, this is made with a special 200-year-old Brazilian log that they saved just for the Mark VIIs. And they all had custom necks on them as well, hand-carved necks from Carlo Greco. So again, listen, I'll play each one. I'll start with the Mark VI. They're already tuned up. They have the same strings. Just a beautiful sound. Here's the rosette of the Guild Mark VI. Again, this one's from 1968. And Guild Mark VIs and VIIs all had a pearl inlaid tie block on the bridge. And I'll try to keep it steady so you can see it. So this is the Mark VI. And I'll play that against the beautiful Mark VII. see Mark VII had an ivory tie block with the pearl inlays inside of it. So only the Mark VIIs and some of the Mark VIs had this similar tie block as well, but this is just an example of that. The main difference between the Mark VI and the Mark VII, again, this is the Mark VI and this is the Mark VII. The Mark VII has a longer scale length, 26¼ inches, and Mark VI is typically at a 25½ inch. This particular one has a 25 and a 3/8 of an inch scale length. So I hope you enjoyed this little comparison of two of the top of the line Guild Classicals. Again, pictures of their beautiful Brazilian rosewood. Mark VII, and here's the Mark VI. If you get a chance to play one of these, I would recommend it. Check out my YouTube channel for history on all the Guild models. Again, these are two of the top of the line models. Thanks a lot.